Oh, greetings, Retro-Unlimers! We are back for our monthly delve into the deepest recesses of the retro gaming butt crease with whoever I could coax from the street with promises of umbongo and opal fruits. And tonight we have a juicy smorgasbord of faces and voices to stop you falling asleep before the stream is out. Don't worry, this is not going to be too late. For those new to the stream, show 1 is going to run from 8:30 UK time to 10, with show 2 running from 10:30 to probably after midnight. You know how this show goes. This is the 44th edition, containing precisely 44 topics for discussion and 44 guests from 44 countries around the world. And I am terrible at lying, but let's meet our random assortment of retro reprobates. Mr. Scott Bailey, the console snob, welcome back to RetroUnlim Live.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been on one of these shows for a couple months at least.
Ah, well, we've been off the air, Scott, so...
yeah, that helps. I've been fucking busy.
You've been streaming yourself tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, I've testing out the YouTube streaming app, which really fucking good, actually. Because, yeah, like I said, I refuse to use Twitch anymore. So, yeah, it's a fucking pretty cool app. You know, and I'm also sponsored by Google, so pay me!
Yes, Google are our overlords tonight. And it's like the Pink Floyd light show in Scott's bedroom.
I fucking wish it was.
We can see outside for the first time ever on one of these live streams. We can see what's outside Scott's dungeon.
Dungeon. Outside of here, absolutely nothing. There's no zombies. There's, whatever. Yeah.
And that was Scott's review of the outdoors. Well, welcome to the stream.
What's up? Door rules.
Welcome to the stream, Mr. Scott Bailey.
And go fuck it.
Yes. The console snob. Also, it's another regular. It is the Game Taff. It's Aidan Watkins. Hello.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
All right. That's a nice beard mustache combo you've got going on there.
I guess. I mean, there's dudes with like a lot better ones. I mean, look at Alphas. It's like fucking like 2 foot long.
And you blow the guest we have on tonight.
Oh, look at it! Look at it! Because it's like, oh, no. Shut up! Fuck you! Just because no one likes you.
No, my wonderfully scripted intro is completely blown.
Anyway.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, no, shut up, Scott. Let's go back to it. So you were saying, Mr. Yak.
How are you doing this week, Mr. Taff?
Really, really, really good. Actually, I got a promotion in work, which is pretty cool.
Oh, excellent! That deserves a Google Hangouts round of applause. If I could get Google Effects to load up, which I can't right now, so you'll have to wait. Can I owe it to you? I'll have it on your desk by Monday morning. Thanks, Google.
I see what you did there. Clever. But yeah, I'm really good. And like with Scott, it's been a long time since I've actually been on. Yeah, no, shut up.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah. So as I was saying, basically, like it's been a long time since I've actually been on here. I know
that deserves a Google Hangouts.
Nova bag. Can you mic off?
What's happening? My doppelganger is here.
There we go. Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, technical difficulties here. Anyway, yeah, it's been ages since I've been on, and even though I know you guys have been on hiatus, I wasn't on for a while before that either, because like scheduling conflicts with me gigging and all that, as I recall.
Ah, yes, because we can just about see your guitar. Can you hold it up to the camera?
Ooh.
Is that an Ibanez?
Yep, it's the Ibanez James 7V Steve I signature. My pride and joy.
Fantastic. I have a similar one. It cost me £50.
Oh, this cost me $2,500.
I can't afford that stuff. Well, welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining us once again, Mr. Beardy Mustachy Bloke Game Taff.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. It's a pleasure to have you here, and it's a pleasure to have Mr. Novabug, Chris Weatherly. Hello.
Hello. How are you? How is everyone? Can you hear me?
Well.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Thank God for that. I thought I'd go on mute.
Have you had a haircut?
No. I had a fight with a flymo, and I'm the opposite of one of our guests.
Foreshadowing, that is.
Yeah, time foreshadowing. Well, I was clever not to mention any names there, like
foreshadowing.
Aiden has to fuck everything up, doesn't he?
and ironically, no, he's just by doing that. It's like I haven't mentioned any names.
I know. Typical Welsh. Anyway.
Wow.
I got here just in time.
Yes, just in time. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being yourself.
Thank you. That's Woodland's catchphrase. You know, you're plagiarism catchphrases now. Harry, seriously.
Moving on, we do have two special guests with us this evening, and I'm going to introduce them right now. Here is somebody who's been on this show, I think, once before. Yes, once, not twice. It's Mr. Shane Lewis, a.k.a. Rires. Greetings.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Shane.
Very low key.
And I must
Very
also
lucky, yeah.
I must also compliment you on your beard.
I haven't shaved for 3 minutes, so it'll kind of grow in as time goes on. Pretty good.
So how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been pretty busy doing a lot of work, new schedule on re-res, but having fun and not sleeping, so, you know, it's great. Love it.
Lots of Red Bull. No, this stream is not sponsored by Red Bull, rather.
And we're not sponsored by sleep either. That's definitely one. We're not sleepers.
I'll suck it up.
No. Pardon?
Suck it up.
Like a vacuum cleaner. Well, yes. Well, we're so honoured to have you back. I think this is the first time since the 40th edition. Well remembered, Yak. And it's an honour once again to have you here. So, Mr. Shane Lewis, hello.
Thank you.
Finally, we have one more person to introduce, and that is the mighty Mr. Bill, a.k.a. Alpha Omega Sin. Hello.
Oh yes, mighty indeed. Hello.
Oh, look at those guns!
Bringing the gun show like that. Oh yeah, don't worry, it's all lighting and special effects. Do not be confused.
He's off straight away. He's off straight. Knew this would happen. He's off straight away. Brilliant.
See, I'm gonna be bringing the fucking energy and shit. Everybody's gonna be like, that motherfucker's on cocaine. Unfortunately, this is all natural. All natural, no 80s fucking white line intake, so yes.
This is just pure endorphin, Bill. Pure endorphin.
Yeah. For a second, I thought you were doing the whole fucking Captain Ginyu, like, thing.
Dude, I actually wish. I need an entire, like, goon squad so that they can do all the proper shit with me. I'm like, I kind of miss them, because we need more of that on Dragon Ball Super. Makes me sad. Also, we need talented artists, too. So art, that would also be good. Haha, zing zing!
Before we go like into act, has anyone actually seen the new movie? Because that could be a good topic for later, just in case.
I have not. The thing was, I was supposed to go see it at theaters with a couple friends, and that did not pan out. So I've just been kind of sitting on my hands now, debating on what to do. I'm like, do I torrent it? Or do I wait till it comes out officially, or...
That's fair enough,
I do want to see it.
That's the modern paradox. The modern movie paradox.
I've seen it, and before we go into it, it's cool, but it's not as cool as what people may think, personally. Maybe I'm jaded because I'm older now, but... Yeah. We may go into that another time.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the movies were... I mean, they were either really fucking awesome, or, you know, they just didn't matter because, one, most people took them with a grain of salt because it's like, well, it doesn't count with the Dragon Ball continuity within the universe, and all that shit. So
They're either really good or they're the Fantastic Four.
No, nothing gets that bad. Ooh. Nothing gets as bad as seeing Galactus turn into a fucking cloud. Granted, that's not the newest one, but when I saw that shit in theaters, I remember staring up at the screen because I was sitting like very, very low front row, and I could feel my jaw hitting my lap. It's just like, why is this a thing and happening in front of me? I paid for this. I paid to watch this.
That's the old one. The old one or the new one?
Oh no, that's the old one. No, I refused to go see the new one. All I had to do was go see the initial trailer for it, and I was like, that looks like fucking garbage.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's hilarious. You said that the trailer looks like garbage, but they cut everything you see in the trailer out of the film. So it's garbage plus
Well, I can't wait for that extended cut Blu-ray that'll come out. Those like now with extra rubbish.
Problem is, most of the,
I love
most of the
the fact
second
that-
trailer, most of that second trailer was cut out at the end of the film anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love the way Josh Trank gives it the side off and straight before it comes out. It says, "Oh, by the way, it's Fox that did all the editing on this. They binned me, so this is not my movie anymore. I had a fantastic movie, quote
Oh,
unquote."
fuck you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, turn it in.
Well, that's the thing. You may be turning the screw on it, saying, "Oh yeah, I had a great movie," but who gives a fuck about the Fantastic Four anyway? Marvel hasn't. They've got no comics out or nothing. They've completely thrown them. It's the Deadwood. They've just been thrown into the sea and let the fucking drown. That's all it's left now.
I love the way
So-
every trailer or clip you see of the Fantastic Four has to have the tagline "Made by the same people as Days of Future Past," like it's some
Yeah.
sort of draw. Oh,
Like Brian-
that was good. Yeah,
if
we'll
I
go and
was
see
Brian Singer, if I was Brian Singer, I'd be calling them up right now and say, "You take that off the fucking adverts, or I'm gonna start suing." It's like I'm not fucking having my name tarnished by this shit.
Oh, it is absolute poo. Anyway.
Anyway, I used to enjoy the Fantastic Four cartoon. Ringo was my favourite.
I never liked the Fantastic Four to begin with, so
I love
the
Stretch
movies
Armstrong.
never piqued my interest, and that's it really.
That was
Strange.
the same boat for me.
I never really liked the concept of the characters because the whole series was just... You got 4 characters, 4 people with superpowers, that's good. The Invisible Woman is like no draw whatsoever. I mean, she literally goes invisible, which is pretty much, modern
Right. Yeah.
speaking of, housewives, which just didn't
Yeah.
do anything for me.
Little
You
bit of
have a guy that
telekinetic.
sets on fire, who cares? You got a guy that's really strong, but he's not as strong as the Hulk, so who cares? And then you've got a guy that can stretch. It's like, these 4 powers don't do anything interesting. When I saw the new movies, I didn't bother to see the new movie in theaters because, look, Corman did it right the first time. You don't need another one, just to be certain on that. But when I saw that he had like slinkies wrapped around his arm because that's how his like suit could go really really long, I was just like, nah, guys, that's just somebody at a studio that went, hey. Do we have a Slinky sponsorship? Like, put that on his hands, man. It'll get someone will watch.
Holy fuck, Hasbro just called. We're making money. Put them on.
Honestly, I didn't mind actually. Rise of the Silver Surfer was probably better, but yeah, like Bill says, it's just why is Galactus this cloud in the sky? Come on, we want to see Galactus. Come on,
Like,
come on.
even the
No,
new-
let's
right,
not
the
see Galactus. Let's. Oh.
Even with the Avengers movies, I'm just looking forward to the one day they finally face Galactus because it's going to be fucking epic.
Well, no,
Right.
no, because
Oh,
that's exactly why it wouldn't work for those movies. Because in the first movie, you're facing Doctor Doom, who's just a dude in a mask, pretty much, and all scarred up. And the second movie, you throw in Galactus. It's like, dude, throw in like something minimal in between. You can't just go from Doctor Doom to Galactus. Like, those are 2 completely... It's like in the first movie of, like, X-Men, they show up with, like, yeah, here's Magneto. Second movie, Apocalypse. Like, no, you give a break, Like, wait a couple seconds. Like, take a beat, Like, throw in some other things. Have some nice character development and everything. We still haven't got over the fact that dude just stretches and does fucking nothing else, so why not just... Once you can figure out something else to do with stretching...
At least had the
a good
surfer in there.
stretching sex scene. Once you've got something like that, he's got a love interest, that would be good. Other than that, you just have a woman that goes invisible, a guy that sets on fire, and a dude that wants to be the Hulk but just forgot the green paint at home. There's not a lot else going on.
This is fantastic. What makes really sweet strangulation porn.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to point out something about the Invisible Woman, though. While I think the Fantastic Four are fucking generic and boring overall, they just didn't do it for me. I'll stick with X-Men if I want a little cast of characters running around with different powers, because they're actually developed interestingly individually. But the Invisible Woman, is out of all of them, is the most overpowered, oddly enough. Because initially her powers were, I'm just invisible and that's it. But the thing is, as time progressed, they started delving deeper into, like, you know how she can do the invisible shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can create microscopic versions of those, and she essentially can put it into something, say, your bloodstream. and then just clog that shit. She could put it in the middle of your brain and then expand it and just pop your head like a fucking zit.
So a force field
why am
within
I
the body.
getting this? I'm getting this image in my head now that the rest of the Fantastic Four are sending very angry support messages to the developers to get them get her nerfed because she's way too overpowered now.
Dude, I really think that was one of those things where it was kind of similar with DC Comics and Aquaman, where they were like, okay, everybody keeps on mocking this particular character because they think they're useless. Fuck it, we're gonna make them really useful and make you eat all your words. So they make them epic in all proportions, in all ways, and just do some shit like that. I'm like, you know what? That was awesome. And if anybody is still talking shit on Aquaman, just go see Flashpoint Aquaman and let me know how underpowered he is. Just need to go and put that out.
Did a similar thing with Ant-Man as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I was like that when I played Injustice. When I first saw Aquaman, I was like, oh, he's gonna get fucking. I was like, I'm gonna knock him out. The next thing you know, he stabbed me the fuck up with a trident, dragged me through everything. He beat the shit out of me. I'm like, huh. Okay, he sort of stepped up his game a little bit from the yellow and green in the blonde hair last time I saw him. Like, okay, fair enough.
So the official word there's a Channel Reverse and Channel Alpha Omega Sin don't like the Fantastic Four.
2 thumbs down.
And I don't blame no one bit.
It probably handled well, but the problem I find is this. Fox owns X-Men, Fox owns Fantastic Four. Yep. Technically in that universe, everyone's like, mutants are fucking evil, but then the Fantastic Four roll around, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal, that was just gamma rays. Like, get out of here, it's the same thing. They both, that dude can stretch, like, for no reason, and he's okay, and she's invisible right now. I don't even know where she is, but that's okay? Oh, but the guy that's just blue. No, friggin' Hank, yeah.
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah. Oh, he's just wrong. Like that's the guy everybody's against. No, not the dude that can light the fucking world on fire with his knees. We're gonna be pissed off at the guy that just has blue fur and happens to be really smart and is actually a very nice individual. No, screw that. X-Men, mutants, get rid of them. But gamma radiation, oh, we're okay with that. Dumb. That's why I don't like the Fantastic Four. They don't fit in the universe that Fox bought.
That's a good argument. I can't argue with that. I really can't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it makes sense, and I don't jump in that deep when it comes to like these type of movies. But like, I agree, Fantastic Four is shit. It's generic. It's boring. But like, I think I don't know. Is anyone else feeling at the moment like because you're having? I mean, fuck, you had the Spider-Man trilogy, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need a reboot. Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's probably a third one coming. I mean, then you have the Fantastic Four movies, and you have there's so much Marvel at the moment. I just feel like overwhelmed, where I'm just like, for fuck's sake, not another comic.
They've ditched the I think the third Spider-Man film because they thought, well, that was a bit of a shitty reboot. There you go, because it was, honestly, it was. For my personal, I think the first, well, I'm going to say trilogy, but the first 2 films at least were decent. So.
The one with what's his name? Is it Tobey
Maguire?
Tobey Maguire, that's the one. Yeah.
The problem is we just keep getting origin stories. Origin stories that have been established 1,000 times over. And not to say that it's not important to go and do that, but there are certain iconic characters where we don't need to do that. For fuck's sake, I don't need to know that Batman's parents died because people that don't read Batman, don't watch Batman, don't play Batman, know that Batman's parents are fucking dead.
No. You're wrong. You need to know why his parents dead. Otherwise, you won't understand why he's afraid of bats.
And it's something else about characters being overpowered. Right the fuck now, Batman is probably the most overpowered character in DC Comics currently, because he's sitting in the fucking Mobius chair. Boom. I don't know if anybody knows what the fuck that is, but Batman, the world's greatest detective, and as Superman has put it, the most dangerous person on Earth, is sitting in a chair that gives him all knowledge in the universe.
Ooh.
This also gives him it's got a shield built around it that can withstand any kind of damage, even from gods, and it'll keep him alive forever. So Batman with unlimited knowledge and can't die.
So basically, he's the main basically he's the main server for Wikipedia.
And the
Well,
only
it's
man.
even better because he doesn't edit his own knowledge. So, he's not like,
Well,
I
other people
don't
edit it.
like how this went down, so it went down like this.
Hey, that part of my knowledge is a lie. I'm going to edit it.
That's true. That is
Citation
ridiculous.
needed.
Batman has literally become God, then, essentially.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that's one of the most dangerous things about him was his mind. And then they put him in the fucking Mobius chair, which they haven't talked about that thing in I don't even know how long. And the last person who sat in who was the last person who sat in the Mobius chair, I think, was the Anti-Monitor, which was one of the strongest villains that they ever created. I'm talking like one of those things where universally good guys and bad guys have to kind of get together and flank this motherfucker to kill him. And now you have Batman sitting in that chair. Yeah, fuck it.
this is a dude we're talking about who has like skin tight leather, fucking spandex.
That's the movies.
And yeah, I know. Yeah, they're bat nipples, that's all I'm saying.
Oi! How dare you shun Joel Schumacher's work? He's a fine director.
But like we know, like we're talking about origin stories. So like I completely agree. Like it's sometimes it's cool to know the origin stories, but how many fucking times can you repeat the same thing? Batman's parents, Bruce Wayne's parents were killed in an alleyway. I mean, if you want to do a different origin story and take it in a whole new universe, which it would be cool, why not? Change it so his parents aren't killed or something. I don't know. I mean, I understand some fans be like, fucking sacrilege, heresy, but I'm sick of seeing the same thing. Just,
they do alternate universes all the time.
Yeah, no, in comics and stuff. Yeah, no, I get that. That's what I mean. But in movies, it's like I said, like we had the Tobey Maguire origin Spider-Man. Then we had the Amazing Spider-Man origins, and it's like, for fuck's sake, like it's the same fail. It's the same thing. The guy gets bitten by a spider. Whoopee, he can fly around the city. It's
His
like
uncle gets killed.
I mean,
they're not going to do that when they bring him into the Avengers, though. I don't think they're going to do that when they bring Spider-Man to the Avengers, and I don't think they're going to do it with Batman when they Batman versus Superman, which is going to be very strange.
They have an origin story in the Batman movie.
There is in Batman versus Superman. Oh my!
Yeah, they actually have one because no one knows the origin story to Batman.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know what's funny? The one movie I wanted an origin story was Ant-Man for the original Ant-Man. But they didn't do it, and it still worked because you don't even see how Hank Pym really designed everything. They don't even get to that. What they do is they just jump with the new guy, and they're showing everything happen there. And I was like, this works.
They changed it, didn't they? They changed the origin story for Ant-Man.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. My God, okay, everybody, let's watch Hank Pym drink a couple beers and beat his wife up, or let's do a heist story. And I was like, hey, you know what? I like this idea. I've already seen the really brooding Daredevil, and I really like that. But I didn't really want Hank Pym to be that way. So they did something a little bit better, and I appreciate that. I like what they did there.
I'm actually surprised that you just confirmed that they're doing an origin story. I mean, for fuck's sake. The fact is, right, the only people who are going to want to see Batman versus Superman are people who know what they are in the first place. So it's like, who on planet Earth, unless you were literally from, like, the fucking Brazilian rainforest, some little mountain temple in fucking China or something, a Buddhist monk somewhere, who doesn't know who the fuck Superman or Batman are and how they got to be? I mean, Jesus Christ.
In which case, if somebody from one of those actually did, like, see a movie, they'd be like, oh God, there's big people on the wall! And they'd run away and they'd scream into the jungle again,
Exactly. It's like, what the hell? What is this magic? What is this sorcery?
Imagine if you showed them 20,000 years BC, it'd blow their fucking minds, wouldn't it? Hey, look at this, Jason and the Argonauts. Wow, look at these scorpions and skeletons. Wow.
Like, I'm actually, like, I know a lot of people, I'm sure, like, on the topic of Batman versus Superman, I remember a lot of people when Ben Affleck was first announced, everyone, like, sort of lost their shit. Similar with the Jared Leto Joker. I mean, people are like, oh my God, this is shit, and then they see the trailer and like, oh my God, it's so good, and this and that, and I actually think that both actors are going to do a pretty good job in their respective roles, if I'm honest with you. I like Jared Leto's type of Joker. I like the fact that...
Yeah, so do I. It's a punk rocky sort of version of Joker.
Yeah, the one thing I've always loved about whenever they've had actors play Joker...
No, I take that back. Sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
if the Joker was the front man of the Haunted, that's what he would look like. Yeah.
But I like how like each, a lot of people are like, oh, Heath Ledger is the ultimate Joker, this and that, and it's like, all right, fair enough, I get that. But what I find is that every actor who plays a Joker so far has brought their own unique spin of like insanity. Like you have Jack Nicholson, who's just his type of insanity versus Heath Ledger's type of insanity. They're two different types, if that makes sense. I mean, like Heath Ledger's very psychotic and like anarchistic and crazy, but then
both are psychotic, but in different ways.
Yeah, but then like Jack Nicholson's Joker is a little bit more like kooky and wild, and in his like insanity and his craziness. If that makes sense.
That reflects accurately upon the Joker in the comics, because it's been said 1,000 times over that the Joker mentally has tons of incarnations of himself, even to the point that he becomes reborn. Whenever you get to see him portrayed a different way, that's just a different layer of his mind. That's why he's dressed this way. That's why he's deciding to take an approach to Batman, or just, his plans in general. That's why he's doing it this way. And if they are approaching Jared Leto's Joker the way that a lot of people are assuming, which, lots of stuff is lining up, but if it is turning out that it is the Robin who got it is Robin who got killed, and he came back as the Joker because the old Joker's actually not around anymore. That's gonna be a big time mindfuck, and probably one of the biggest like swerves and twists that they've ever decided to go and take liberty in the movie adaptations with the Joker, outside of like Jack Napier, being the one that killed Bruce's parents. And all that shit, which I never liked that. I always thought it was silly.
Because like I know, what you're talking about there, I'm sure is in one of the animated. I think it's like the Batman of the Future or something. Because I know Joker comes back, and then I think like the old Bruce Wayne. I think it's called Batman Beyond for you guys on your side of the world. But I remember watching a movie about it, and it turns out that I think it was Robin or something like that that actually was the Joker. He done something with his mind, and he completely like.
Yeah, that was Batman. I'm getting tongue-tied. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, which was the standalone movie. And spoiler alert for everybody out there: whenever they do it, it does turn out that it's the Joker that is essentially Robin, but Robin has no idea. It's kind of it's a fucking microchip, basically. A bunch of techno babble. Blah, blah, blah. And then the Joker pops out, and it's like, fuck yeah, party time! And that's great.
Yeah. But like you saying, like I know in the comics, obviously you have so many different universes, different ideas, and I like the idea of each character in the movies is sort of tied in with a different layer of his, like, what's it, like multiple personality disorder, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But like I remember as well in one of the comics, I can't remember which one it is, but someone was telling me, and I want to read it. There's one where he's really dark and he's really fucked up, and there's something about he does something to Batgirl, Batwoman, whatever, and then he actually ends up murdering her.
That's the Killing Joke.
Yeah, is that the one where is it true that I heard that he rapes her and then murders her or some shit like that, or
he doesn't actually rape her. There's actually going to be an animated movie adaptation of it, which I can't wait for, because DC Comics and Warner Brothers have been fucking home running every single one of those standalone animated movies.
I'm looking forward to that.
The Killing Joke is probably the closest, the closest that we've had to a quote-unquote origin story, which they did phenomenally because they left it open to interpretation in many regards, because the Joker wasn't meant to have an actual origin story. His past is meant to be a big blank slate, because you shouldn't have an origin for him. He shouldn't have a past, because that's what makes him even more unique and more interesting, is you don't know. And with that, that's how Batgirl became Oracle, because she became crippled, and then she was like stripped down, nude, by the Joker. He took a bunch of pictures of her, and then he plastered them all over this one place, and then made Jim Gordon go through this really fucked up ride where he was beaten profusely and is now having to see his daughter bleeding out, crippled, and naked all around him, because the Joker just wanted to drive him insane. and he's got like gimp masks on these fucking midgets and shit who are like hitting him with things. It's fucked up, but the thing is, it's effective because if you ever wanted to see somebody get driven to the point of insanity, even like the most strong-willed individual, that shit'll break you.
Yeah. For a second then, I thought you were talking about Manhunt 2 again.
The guy's in that sex shop, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're talking about comics a whole bunch. We got to get to gaming because the people in the audience are probably like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
How it matters.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you for letting me know about the Killing Joke becoming an animated short, though, because I didn't know about that. I'm yet to read the comic, so I'm wondering, should I read the comic then see it, or should I wait for the film? Shane.
Yeah, read the comic. Alan Moore is one of the greatest comic authors in the world, and the way he wrote that was really good. The details and textures, even if they get it 100% accurate, there's something about envisioning the voices in your own head when you're reading that comic that just make it that much more profound. You just got to read it. I'm a big fan of that one and just Joker, which was the Brian. Yeah. Oh, who did those two?
I've always forgotten that writer's name, but the book is fantastic, as is the art.
Yeah, Joker is what I imagine they're aiming to make this new Joker from the new film like, because this Joker has this very like kind of rock star aesthetic to him, that he's well known and stuff like that, and all the other villains that they throw into the world seem a little bit more grounded in reality, like Killer Croc is just a dude with tattoos all over his body, and the Riddler is this guy that's his body's kind of weak, but his mind's really sharp, and he's like a drug peddler, and he looks like a 90s freaking DJ kid, so it's really awesome what they did in that comic. It's a one-off, but it's really, really good, and I think that's where they're trying to pull a lot more of these sources from here. But you always got to read those comics, because even if the movies are amazing or the animations are amazing, those comics are always going to stand alone as being something that offer a different layer of accessibility that the movies simply won't.
Only last question, I do apologise, guys. Is it its own, like, one condensed, like, one big comic book, or is it split up into issues? Because I'm actually going to look to pick this up.
With Joker and The Killing Joke, both of those books, those are straight-up graphic novels.
Excellent. Cool.
They are just standalone stories. They don't have anything to do with, like, Detective Comics or the Batman comics. They're just their own thing. So you can actually pick up The Killing Joke, and you can read it front to back on its own without knowing anything else. That's what's nice about those. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm actually going to pop to my comic shop in my town tomorrow and see if they got a copy. You can order me one then. That's cool.
Wait, so you've got a comic shop?
Yeah, we have a comic shop, yeah.
Bloody hell. I can't believe we got through talking about the Suicide Squad and we never mentioned Harley Quinn.
Oh.
Well, if I do, I'll probably start dry humping something.
Yeah,
Yes, do it.
I was nervous about mentioning Harley Quinn in case Bill goes mental. So.
Speaking of which, Bill, nice chest.
oh yes. Here, so everybody can see the professional setup of Alpha Omega Sin. It's a fucking Nintendo chest that I got a snowball mic sitting on top of.
That's so cool.
What's kind of fucked up is I have no actual furniture in my game room right now because I only had one chair in here. That was it, and that chair broke. I have not had a suitable replacement since, so I do it just like when I was a kid. I plop my ass on the floor, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, big TV.
So that's why you stand up when you do your videos.
Well, I stand up when I do the videos because when I start talking about things, I realize I'm way too animated when I begin like getting into stuff, and when you're sitting down, you feel confined almost. So I was like, you know what, walking around will help a whole bunch, because if not, I'll want to get up and start walking around, which I'll be out of frame and it's just crotch shots the entire time.
I don't know why. It's the way you shot your videos. Whenever you're talking, I'm listening to you, and then my eye is always drawn to Lollipop Chainsaw on the
So Julia's over there hanging out, and it's nice because that thing got saved. The day that the game came out, which I was excited about because Suda51 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love Suda51's games.
I was like, man, I can't wait for this game. You know, it's going to be really cool. And I went out to go to this one store. It's a retail chain around me called The Exchange, and they had just put that out because the game just came out, so they had just put it out that day. some fucking uptight social justice warrior
no.
soccer mom fucking cunt
Fuck's sake.
is there, and she's like bitching at the manager that right there is inappropriate, disgusting, and needs to be taken down and all this shit, and she's gonna complain to the Better Business Bureau, and she's never gonna shop there again. She's gonna tell her, going the fuck off.
Kind of
because she has
reminds me
nothing
of
else
someone.
better to do.
Kind of reminds me of someone who rants in front of a video in a sepia tone. But anyway, carry on with your story.
Oi, hold it,
Do it,
hold it,
do
you
it.
right there.
Do it.
No, carry
don't
on.
do it. Carry on,
Sorry.
Carry on, Bill. Sorry.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
No, I don't know what he's talking about either.
But essentially, they caved in, and they were going to throw it in the rubbish because they couldn't actually send it back to Warner Brothers, who is the publisher of it. And I just stepped in, went to the manager and said, "Can I just take that home?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So folded it down, took it
Right
home.
place at the right time.
Yeah, big time. It was the only other cardboard cutout I got. I actually also saved from the garbage, so it's kind of ironic. I have 2 cardboard cutouts, and both of them were saved from trash. It's kind of weird.
One person's trash is another person's gems, as it were.
Yeah, if only. Well, technically, I've got a third one. Shane, you've got that Final Fantasy VII one.
The big one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Checked it. I don't even know when it's.
You were supposed to give me that at Con Bravo, but you're a fuck.
Well, no. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I didn't get it from the person, so I don't know where it is.
You didn't? Well,
No.
Damn, that sucks.
They
Who is
told
it?
me.
Who is it? Is it Cloud or?
What happens?
Well,
Like people watch the show and they like the show and they're like, "Man, I want to give you something," and I'm like, "Yeah, if you want me to cover it on the show," and then they're like, "Wow, this is expensive. Maybe I shouldn't give it to you." So that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's definitely not cheap. A lot of the old promotional items and games are always expensive, which sucks because I just like them because they look neat. But then people are like, "Yeah, but I want $700 for it." I'm like, "Well, it's cardboard." So
They've got a rarity
no.
and a very high nostalgic value, haven't they? Like a lot of retro games, to be honest. So.
Bill, I've got a relation. Go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, man, I mean, due to lack of room, that's why I try to get very particular about the ones. I mean, this one, if I was gonna sit there and be like, okay, I'm only gonna pick out like certain ones of games I really like, Lollipop Chainsaw would not be at the top of my list, but because of the way I got it, I have like a direct connection with this and have a story behind it. So I love this thing to death, But if it was up to me, I'd probably have like the really kick-ass one of like Resident Evil 2 that has Leon and Claire on it, and it looks real badass.
No, it's all
I'd
good.
have the Final Fantasy VII one of Cloud with his Buster Sword and shit. It's got a Pepsi logo on it, which I always fucking hated and thought looked stupid. But I was like, fine, whatever. But those are 2 I definitely have without a shadow of a doubt.
They should have done one at Tifa.
One for me I'd love to have. I saw it in my local game store years ago when House of Dead Overkill came out on the Wii. I would love to have that standee. You can't find it anywhere. It looked like it was like one of the fat zombies that you get from House of the Dead, but it had his chest like shot out in the middle, and you had G and Agent Washington, isn't it? His name? Isaac Washington.
Yeah.
And they're sort of peeking through the hole. That's a fucking cool standee.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's cool though is depending on what part of the world you're in, you'll get different standees and promotional items.
Yeah.
So, I can go onto eBay. Naturally, it'll be the U.S. version of eBay, but I can come across international sellers from Europe who'll have completely different promo items that might look way fucking cooler, but then the cost of it's always going to be something extraordinary. And I've got one, but it's not even here at the house. I actually have it sitting at my dad's house because that was the only place I could store it. And it's it's fucking huge. It's longer than my arm span and real tall, but it's a Duke Nukem Forever cardboard cutout. And he's got his arm around some chick, but her face is out. So you can put your face inside of it, and it's pretty badass.
That is fucking awesome.
That's like a British beachfront holiday photo snap job.
Yeah, I've seen that standee. Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, but Duke motherfucking Nukem.
You should put that in front of your house and charge people $1 to come and use it.
People would probably be like, "I'll give you $1 to put it back inside your house because I fucking hate that game." I'm like, "Aw."
No, it's not as bad as people make out.
It's not. The reason that everybody thinks that game is horrible, and I'm not gonna say, "Oh man, it's the greatest Duke Nukem ever," because it's
no, is it?
The reason that it's got the bad rap that it does is simply because of the legacy it built up over the years of being developed.
Yeah.
And that fact is that if anybody's going to do their homework, that's the 4th Duke Nukem game that was made while they were making Duke Nukem Forever. The 4th. Yeah. So technically, if you were just judging it based off of what that last one was, not a bad game. I don't think it was a particularly great Duke Nukem game because it's just not. But it's definitely not a bad game. If you want a bad game, play fucking Bubsy 3D. That's a bad game aesthetically and from a design standpoint. It's fucking wretched.
The problem with Forever as well that people never seem to take into consideration, I find, is that people are like, "Oh, I played shit that's through this and that." Well, the thing is, the game was literally brought together from the ashes of 3D Realms. They'd taken literally they'd have bits and levels and art assets.
Yeah, they stitched it together basically.
Yeah, they literally. I think it's good and I like it simply because even though it's not complete and it's rushed, the fact is they took what little they had, worked with it as quick as they could, and they gave us something. Because I appreciate the fact that I still got to play something than never playing anything at all.
It's funny how it's funny how games that have this, like Bill says, like this legacy of being in development hell, they always turn out to have a bad reputation. You can take Daikatana, you can take
well, no, Daikatana.
Alien Colonial Marines. These games are bad. The development hell on this, it's been reported in the press and reported in the game magazines, online, IGN, whatever. It's this is going through this and this is going through that, and it's taken years and years to come out, and it's just going through shit. And eventually, when it does come out, everyone's like, "Who cares anymore?"
Yeah.
Well, I was like that with Wolfenstein 2009. I'm playing through that right now because I'm doing the Wolfenstein retrospective, and I really did not enjoy that game at first. When I first got it, when it first came out, I barely played it. I just did not get on with it. The first 2 hours of that game are just crap. It doesn't gel well until you get to the farm level, and that's when it really starts to amp up. But I'm starting to appreciate the game. I'm playing it now, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But you do, when you go back to these sort of games that didn't do as well as the predecessors, you start to learn to appreciate what they were actually trying to do, because Wolfenstein 2009 was supposed to be a free roaming game, and it still has a little bit of those elements now that could have been cut out entirely. It could have just been a completely linear game.
Well, going back to development hell, let's hope that MGS5 isn't bad.
I don't think that game will be bad at all, even considering the turmoil within Konami as a publishing company, because they never really Kojima had at least one thing going for him working there, and that was they kind of let him do his thing. They didn't really talk about within it. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 will be a good swan song, but as a whole, obviously just due to how the company is right now, I can't, in my right mind, support the game at all.
Do you get that thing? Do you get that thing, Bill, when you play a Konami game now, like an old Konami game, and when the logo blips up, and you sort of have a little sunken feeling in the heart? It's sort of
no shit. I was actually.
Why does that happen?
I'm not even kidding. Last night, as a matter of fact, I think it's kind of awesome that you said that. Last night, I was actually doing test streams to figure out the YouTube game streaming, and some of the ones that I was fucking around with were some old Konami NES games, and Monster in My Pocket was one of the games that I got recently, because I was really looking forward to that. Fantastic game by Konami. And a licensed game, no less. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, man, this And then Batman Returns on NES. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
And then, thinking on Super Nintendo, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
4.
They've got, dude, there's so many fucking kick-ass games, and it is kind of depressing because you look like Shane, you just got done having the entire Positives episode of why the hell they should go bankrupt, and it is kind of sad to think about that logo when you saw it. A lot of times, and I mean, this will stand as a testament to a company.
Yeah,
you knew it would be a good game.
Exactly, you would
great
see
gameplay,
that.
great soundtrack. That's what Konami was back then.
Yeah, I would be excited, and like if I didn't know what a game was, but I saw the right company's logo on it, it would still like make me go, hey, what's this? And go pick it up and look on the back of the box and try to find out, whether it was good. Long time ago. Nowadays, I just pull out my smartphone and look it up. But I mean, that's like Atlas, Capcom, Konami,
Square,
any of those companies. Yeah, Squaresoft.
Yeah.
PS1 games are sitting on the fucking shelf over there. I have every single Squaresoft game on there, and that's because Squaresoft was a fucking god in the 32-bit era.
They were. You're right there.
Parasite Eve is still one of my favorite games of all time.
I still like the second one.
My favourite Square game, aside from obviously Final Fantasy VII, is Secret of Mana. That game is just unbelievable.
Konami has this special relationship with me because the very first game I really fell in love with was Jackal for the NES. That was the game that defined the NES for me. People like Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, whatever, those are fine, but Jackal's the game that I think about when I think of the NES. When my parents broke up, I used to play Jackal with my dad. I used to play Jackal with my mom. So it's the only way I can bridge my parents ever actually having a relationship together. Seriously, that's how much Konami has a fucking impact. So when I say Konami is a worthless piece of shit company that should burn up in flames, be drowned in a vat of acid, and their CEO should be taken out in the back and shot and raped, I mean that because those guys have no care about anybody that works for them. They have no care about any of the franchises they built. And on top of that, when I started Positives, one of the very first things I did was I talked about how crap pachinko machines were. And to see them take every franchise they own and turn them into pachinko machines, it honestly felt like they were watching Re-Res and literally going, you know what he's going to like? I couldn't figure it out. Everything you would never want to do with the company. And look, the one thing I got from a lot of messages from people watching the Positives Konami episode was this. Everyone was telling me, well, pachinko machines make more money. Fuck off. That's not a reality. That is some monster craziness. I don't care how much money you make from a single gambling machine. You can make it about anything. Make pachinko machines about freaking pinballs or fucking foam on the wall or just paint. It doesn't matter. It's a pachinko machine. People that are addicted to them will play them. There's no science there. There's no, maybe some people that really like Metal Gear will play the pachinko. No, that doesn't happen. They go into a pachinko hall because they're addicted fucking morons who can't stop playing the game. Period. It doesn't matter what's out there. You literally could have somebody going, if you touch this button, we'll give you AIDS, and they'll still play it.
You're right there, because pachinko isn't really changed that much.
Using franchises that were built up to be gaming franchises, you see nothing from that. And everyone's like, well, Konami's a big corporation. They're going to survive. So was Sega, and Sega got bought by a pachinko company. So was Atari. Atari was massive. And so is every other company that has ever done something this stupid. When you defy your consumer base, when you take the franchises and destroy for what little value they have, because they have no value outside of being a game franchise, then you completely destroy what the company's about. And Konami isn't about to survive the next couple of years and be this long-lasting company that makes pachinko machines. They've got about 10 minutes in the hot sun until they bake into the fucking ground.
Yep. And
Amen.
The only one thing I found interesting about that is that, I don't understand how they're so blind about that, because like you said, it's like pachinko machines and gamers are two completely different markets. I imagine most people who go gambling don't play video games or even give a shit. So what the fuck is a Metal Gear Solid or Silent Hill pachinko machine going to appeal to them over any other one?
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in the gaming crowd, but they just don't care.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't
the
care
thing
about
is-
fucking...
They're blinded by profit. That's what all they're concerned about is, well, how much money can we rake in as quickly as possible. I know. The mobile gaming market is quite popular. Let's tap into that. Fuck the console market because it's too difficult and more expensive to develop for. Even though we made our staple in that market. Oh, and let's go for the pachinko machines as well because, like you say, they're all addicted by morons addicted to them. Oh, we'll all milk them for fucking every penny they're worth. But don't give a shit about any franchise. Who gives a shit whether they're going to be, have Simon Belmont on it or whatever? They don't care.
No. By the way, this is I had to do a lot of research about pachinko. Pachinko machines, gambling, is illegal in Japan. Okay, so this is what I find more funny than anything else. In order to actually be successful at this, pachinko and gambling needs to be made legal in Japan. This is how this works. You go to a pachinko hall, you actually can't buy anything there. You have to go across the street and you have to buy balls just to play the games. And then the balls you win back, you go across the street to trade in for tokens, and you have to go to a different place to actually exchange those tokens for money. You cannot have that stuff existing in the same building. So what everyone's hoping for is gambling to be legalized. But what could happen is the little loophole that pachinko halls use right now could actually be closed off. So if Konami, in their infinite wisdom, decided to go full bore on pachinko machines, it actually could completely destroy the company. Completely. That's what's so bad about Konami right now.
To be frank with you, good, because like you said in the video, the best thing that can happen to that company right now is that they get fucked over, just completely get rid of them. And the best thing that can truly happen is that other companies buy the franchises and then they actually make games from them. Because I understand, like with gambling, like you said, they will make money from it because gambling is a big thing. But at the same time, you're not going to make the same amount of money as you will with a good game. And I appreciate these days, like, development costs are like as big as they've ever been. Development times are through the roof, and people expect so much from games now. If it doesn't have online this or functionality that, then it's instantly shit and a write-off with a lot of people. And I get that, but you could, at the end of the day, like what Capcom done for not too long ago, they're alienating the people that got them where they are. I mean,
maybe we're gonna get a situation like that. Actually, that's good you brought that up, Aidan, because maybe we're gonna get a situation where we're gonna get the ex-developers for the franchises independently developing games like spiritual sequels. Hence things like Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, but then like the best, like recently, I know Capcom have had a lot of shit and stuff like that. Like, I know Alpha Megasins mentioned it, Bill, I've mentioned it myself. I am a fucking, Resident Evil is my life. I fucking love it without a doubt. And the fact that they got a second game being remade is like, oh, awesome. But the fact that they are actually getting a bunch of fans who are like doing a small like Unreal Engine, I think it was, like a remake, if you will, and they brought them in to like just have a chat with them and stuff like that. That they seem to be going down the right road, because I mean, it's really weird. I think Capcom maybe internally they got to like a make or break point, and they finally sort of going, okay, people are pissed off, they're not liking what we're doing, let's actually listen to what the fuck they want for a change.
That's good.
Because like with the Resident Evil remake was fantastic. I know some hardcore purists on some forums are like, oh, the music is sped up, or oh, I don't like this background. Just don't be so petty. Enjoy the game.
All they got to do is look at Konami's paradigm and realise what the fuck are they doing. Let's not go down that route. You know, we hyped up this game, which people have a beloved franchise for since the original PlayStation release. We give you this absolutely mind-blowing demo for free that no one can work the fuck out.
Two of the biggest legends.
What's this?
Yeah.
This is the biggest bloody cliffhanger bollocks ever. Oh, by the way, we're not making it anymore. What?
Yeah. You got two legendary names together working on this one thing that could be like literally the greatest thing of all time. A whole new franchise, a whole new thing. I mean, I know it was Silent Hills, but
I was pissed off with that. Really pissed off, because I was so looking forward to Silent Hills, and then that happened, and I was like, you know what?
You know, the thing that kicked me in the groin repeatedly was, I mean, Silent Hills being shit canned has bothered me to no end, but
Same here.
The entire thing was, and people have been like, "Oh man, Alpha, you must really hate pachinko machines." Like, I don't give a fuck about pachinko machines. I hate the fact that we have a company that was founded and established off of video game franchises and in the arcades and consoles on PC and all that shit, and then decided that they were just going to quit making those and then milk the fuck out of them in a completely different market. That's my problem with it. I don't mind whenever you want to go and utilize a name in some other different area, but it's like, okay, you're going to go and just quit making these games and then make pachinko versions. And it was even worse with the Silent Hill pachinko machine because they were utilizing all the assets from my all-time favorite Silent Hill, which is the fucking second one. I see James Sutherland with like his fucking daughter and shit, and the way that they're playing the entire video reel looked like a great fucking, you know, little homage to the game that we could go back to and replay, or maybe it was like a prequel or a sequel or just like a side story or whatever the fuck it was going to be. And no, it's a fucking gambling machine. It just made me want to throw my damn PC just watching it.
Like, I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future. It's like one of my all-time favorite movie franchises. Big fan. Back to the Future had a a slot machine made out of it, where they actually hired Christopher Lloyd to come back and reprise his role as Doc Brown, and there's like a story element in the slot machine.
Great
I have no interest in slot machines. No interest whatsoever. Okay, slot machines are exactly like pachinko machines, only pachinko machines are worse.
It's just gambling, isn't it, really?
Yeah, right? Pachinko machines are far worse, but slot machine, whatever. I wanted to see the slot machine, so I went like 2 hours in one direction, went to a casino. I've never been into one before. Walked in, I started looking for this slot machine, because apparently they had it there. The atmosphere of a slot machine house is that of Apocalypse Now. It's a group of people gathering around and not happy about anything that's going on, but then Colonel Kurtz is stuck in this little thing behind chains, doling out coins to people, going, "I know what you want.
Sounds more like
giving it to you in time." And it was like this whole.
Sounds more like Mad Max. You just open a cupboard and you just see a load of women getting milked.
Oh my God, it was horrible. I'm like, this is what scares me the most when I look at these franchises that have stories, these interesting elements to them, these hugely robust experiences, and I think that old bastards are going to be in these fucking halls playing these games, like just wasting their money. These titles, these games, what they've come to represent to us are going to represent these addictions in the future. It's like turning Resident Evil into a package of cigarettes. I mean, that's the shit I don't like. These things are not good, and the fact that they're doing it is ridiculous. But what is worse, what I think is worse about all this, and what no one has really talked about, is the fact that Konami is a video game developer. I don't care if they make bottles of water. I didn't even know they did. Frankly, I don't even care that they do. But what really bugs me is that the entire company has people in line to make more video games. Software coders, writers, art asset people, all these people. And once all these people have no use, they're going to get rid of that whole chunk of the company and just jettison them into the wild. Some of those people will be lucky because they're like Hideo Kojima and a couple of others who have experience. But the rest of those people that basically have been with the company since the beginning being a programmer, are going to find themselves in a state of disarray where they will not have a safe way out. That's what I hate about this. Konami is literally Konami for this. That's why I hate Konami, because Konami is nothing that I care about. It's the made that idea, that brand, what it is.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's the point of it. Like, I know you're saying like about the worst part of it is, of course, is the whole fucking security camera thing too, watching your employees. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you took 30 seconds to talk to Dave over there. Why are you doing that? And it's like, for fuck's sake, like, these guys, these developers are the greatest experiences of all time. These are the guys that have built your company from the ground up. You know, these are the guys who are making you money and are impacting so many millions of people's lives all over the world, and you're treating them as if they're like worse than prisoners almost in that regard. Jesus Christ.
Let's just hope that the likes of Capcom and Nintendo and Square and so on and so forth, you know, pick these guys up and get their talent on board and get some, you know, good shit, and you know, because they've got franchises themselves that need, you know, a bit, and Sega, you know, they need a bit of a, you know, a bit of a kick up the arse, don't they? You know, let's get someone on board in there to sort of like redevelop develop Sonic. Let's reinvent Sonic and get Sonic the fucking name that he was.
Nah,
kind of
fuck
thing.
Sonic. I reviewed a game. I reviewed a game a fucking couple weeks ago. Hardcore Uprising, the bloody loose sequel to fucking Contra Hardcore, made by Arc System Works, and it's one of the best fucking games I've played in years. But I didn't know anything about it until about a month ago, and it's like, well, you know, you make great games like this, you don't market them really that well. The fuck's going on here? And then I had the thing as well. When I put it in and I saw the Konami logo, I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, but this is the alternative. maybe these developers can go off and, I don't know how they would do this, but maybe go into their own indie projects. We've seen the massive uprising of indie projects recently, and they're so good, these games that are coming out. And it's like a big up yours basically to the big AAA third-party developers.
Those sort of companies back over in Japan mostly are stifling the creativity of the most creative people in the world. So when they move away and make these Kickstarters and make the games that they want to make, people fucking throw money at them because they want to see it.
They will, but I think that is a double-edged sword too. See, any kind of video game company that creates this kind of established atmosphere. For instance, I used to work at a place where it was like, shit, it was really bad. They got me in trouble one day for not having my shirt tucked in because you're supposed to wear like a suit, professional, everything. So I had to go talk to my boss. So the very next day I wore sneakers and shorts. Fuck you. But the whole thing was, you are in this atmosphere where you have to think and act like everybody else. Within those atmospheres, it's very hard to be creative. But in a video game development area, usually they're a little bit more open, more swayed, but people have this group, these people they can work around and bounce ideas off of. You know, Fred will go, hey, what if Sonic was like neon pink and he threw up every 2 seconds? And the other guy would go, you know what? That's a dumb fucking idea. We're not going to do that, but we'll make him blue. So the whole concept of how these characters come into be is because of that environment. When independent video game developers leave the flock because they're not a part of those groups, sometimes the projects they make turn out shit. Now look, I love the ideas of crowdfunding and everything, but we would be dumb not to have noticed that a lot of crowdfunded games are turning out to be pretty bad examples of video games. And the reason why that's happening is because these developers had these rules, had these groups they worked in, and suddenly they find themselves in the financial lead, in the creative lead, doing everything, controlling everything, and no one is sitting there to tell them, maybe not that. Maybe second guess that. There's
like
no
a 50-50 kind of thing.
I see, yeah.
And you see it in film, you see it in television, you see it in a whole bunch of music projects and stuff like that. If one person has complete creative control over everything, it's completely shit.
And the best example I can think of that is George Lucas' original trilogy and then prequel trilogy.
It's a great example. First 3 films, he didn't have total control of everything.
Nope.
Then the last 3 films that they made, he had total control. So he's like, yeah, everything green. Just
green screens for everyone.
And it was like this terrible idea, and that's what you see happening with video game developers right now. They're getting in. See, video game development was never this thing you could just do at home by yourself when these guys started because it was really expensive. Mind you, there were the independent developers that are doing things on the TRS-80 and all that stuff. You know, they had their fun out there. But the larger developers that are working at these production houses were putting in way more money, way more stuff behind everything.
Well, hang on, can I interject there? Because there was a massive uprising of independent developers, homebrew, like what we used to call the bedroom developers.
This is more of a culture thing.
In Europe was the kind of thing, and that kind of idea spread, into the tapped the markets of America and the Japan as well. So maybe it's something that maybe was more solid here. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, that is very true, but it's like those people that were making those games eventually turned into Cynosis. They turned into people like Rare, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
It was but they were usually, even though those bedroom developers, the best ones worked in teams. You know what I mean? Yes. Right? Rare wasn't just one person. Cynosis wasn't just one person. It was a group of people making these ideas. It's when you get one person heading everything that you get these huge-ass problems. Look, I've met some of the Mighty No. 9 guys. Everything looks cool from their perspective. But the stuff they showed off, which was those really clean art assets, that beautiful 2D design, did not translate into the final project. And simply that's because there is no PR person, right? It's a lost in translation thing. It's a Japanese company that is saying something different to its North American audiences. And a little bit of that started to happen near the end of Shenmue 3's Kickstarter, where there are these weird ideas and no one was saying the exact same thing and no one could just say what they meant because there is no PR person. There's nobody there to basically identify everything because they're not working as a team. They're working as a group working for one person. And that never works. The best companies have divisions that break up and they each have responsibilities that they all care for. And the head person is a person that just goes, that's okay, that's shit. But what's going on right now with a lot of Kickstarter guys is they don't have that filter. They can do whatever they want, and whatever they want is not good. Because look, we've all made videos, projects, whatever. When you take a look at something you've made a couple weeks afterwards, and you look back at it, you go, wow, why did I make that racial slur there? I wish somebody really called me out on that. And that's the kind of stuff you have to worry about with game development. These guys are amazing creators with huge talents, but they've never been in the bankroll position before. They've never had to worry about the finances. They would tell their producer, I want $1 million to make this game. The producer went, fuck you, $10. And then within that $10, they would make something crazy because they would have no money, but they would find a way to make it work.
That is exactly what happened with the European developers.
And that's the bedroom developers. That's what made it work.
That is exactly what they got. They got that. The publisher said to them, "No, this is your budget. This is your deadline. Get it done." And they did it. Now, half the time it was shit. Half the time it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's 50-50. That's what I would say anyway.
And that's what it is. And like a lot of those bedroom developers, like that guy that made that that lawnmower simulator for whatever the system was.
Spectrum.
Hover bother.
Yeah, right. That stuff was he's like, okay, monsters, no, aliens, no. Mom says I've got to go mow the lawn. So then he just was like, damn, that was it. And you know what? That's fine. But that's the kind of stuff that works when you work in those kind of limitations. You figure out what works for you at the time. If he had $1 million, he would have made the shittiest game in the world.
Yeah, I see what you mean. When you give it unlimited power, and unlimited resources, I think that's the word as well, resources, then it could turn out
But
garbage.
that's the thing with Kickstarter, is that because these guys ask for, say, I want $500,000 to produce a game, then they make $1.5 million, they get 3 times the original budget. They've already got, at that point, they're like, okay, we have no restrictions, we have more money than we need. I understand what you're saying, really, Rez. Like again, to reiterate, having someone there, like, you can have the greatest idea, like the original Star Wars script. Was it like Han Solo or Luke was like a fucking green frog alien monster thing?
Han
And then someone read the script and just went, that's fucking stupid. No, just make him a normal guy, or this and that. And then like Star Wars turned out to be this amazing thing, but it only was that amazing because someone read George's script. They went, nah, that's stupid, let's change it to that. Nah, that's stupid, let's change it to that. But then, like you said, you go back to the prequels, and then, because you can see it in the making of Episode 1, I watched it, and Red Letter Media do an amazing breakdown of it all. But it shows that he's written up a draft of a script and all that, and he's got all these people around him, creative people there, and they're all too scared to say anything to him because he's in complete control, and he can just be like, well, if you don't agree with me, goodbye, or whatever. And these people are too scared to speak up because if they do, that their job is gone, and someone else who will kiss his ass will step up and take their place or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is a great example that I think in the future, give it about a year, we're going to be talking about this story a hell of a lot more. Chris Roberts made the original Wing Commander, and he'd made all the Wing Commanders since, I think most of them anyway. He is a brilliant video game designer, huge ideas. And for a Star Wars connection, Mark Hamill is in the live-action cutscenes to these games.
Yep.
Cutscenes were done with budgets, man. They did an amazing job at the time because these weren't movies. These were video games that felt like movies. Chris Roberts had crazy, crazy ideas. And when they went to go make one game, he just decided to leave that team and he went to go fund another project. Right now, he's working on Star Citizen. And Star Citizen has a huge problem because they're given all of this money and he wants to do everything.
Yeah.
Everything. and they're delaying the game and delaying the game, and it doesn't ever seem like it's going to be finished because they won't stop. They just keep adding and adding and adding and never thinking of a standstill. The good idea is you make one strong idea, have it ride. Then you can add things to it. But they're going on and on and on, and they keep adding features. And I think Star Citizen is going to be what Duke Nukem Forever was. Because Duke Nukem Forever was, we just can't stop. We have to keep changing the... I mean, they changed that engine so many times. And now it looks like this game... We're in a situation where they don't even have to ask for the publishers. All they have to do is go, hey, guys, do you want a first-person shooter in your flight simulator? Well, give us another $1 million, and we'll make it happen. Every year, all they got to do is come out and say something like that, and it's going to get really bad. Because what everyone forgets, everyone loves Chris Roberts. But what everybody forgets is once upon a time, Chris Roberts made the live-action Wing Commander movie. He directed it. He produced it. He had full creative control. And he completely fucked it up. And he did not make the thing that everybody wanted. He didn't even use the assets from the games that he already had. He went and designed this whole weird universe thing with Freddie Prinze Jr., completely different costumes. Like, he really made something completely different, and everyone fucking hated it. It's one of those movies that is so, like, hated that we don't even talk about it anymore. Positives, maybe. That's a good idea. But the thing is, that stuff should not happen. And there should be some control that's held back so that they can make some kind of collaborative effort where they can make a better product. But right now, Chris Roberts is in a position where nobody answers to him, and he answers to nobody. So he can do whatever the hell he wants. And although for some creators they can handle that really well, I've yet to see a single creator that's really done it that decently lately that's kind of done all right.
Yeah, that's like, you know, when you were talking earlier, we were saying about how like publishers can be very, we want this game made now in this budget in this time period. That's a bad thing, but that's also a very good thing because, like you said, now with when you have access to getting more and more funding, and as a creative person, it's great because you get all these ideas and you want to put more in the game. You're like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's put that in there. Having someone again above you will be able to say, look, it's a good idea. We can't do it. We've got to deliver the game at this time. This is your budget. And then, like you said, like creative people would work their magic and create the best game they could within that either time period or budget, if you will. And like you say now, when people are giving more and more and more money all the time, they can go, oh, great, well, we can take an extra, like you said, another year now because you got more funding, so we can add this feature in and this feature in. And
it's a fine balancing act, isn't it? I mean, you can't have under resources because then you haven't got enough to produce a decent output. But then if you have over resources, like Shane says, then you can over egg it, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's that balancing act. It's like sometimes we've seen in the past when a game has been rushed out, where it's under budget and it's been under a time restriction, and they haven't enough time to develop it properly, and it's been crap. On the other hand, we've seen, like we've already mentioned, a game that's been in development hell for yonks, again, probably because of being solely driven by one mind. Then again, it turns out shit. It's just that balancing act you need. You need the right amount of time, the right amount of budget, the right amount of people contributing to it, and then you get the game.
Yeah, and
speaking of time,
there's one major thing that I always want to bring up with this is that with publishers are the money cock for a development team, and you know they give you the resources, they give you the money, and you know they give you the means to be able to create the game. But one of the things that hasn't been brought up about that is there's a lot of times where they will step in and they will then take the reins and creative control over the project. And they will dictate what goes in and what doesn't go in. And that can be really bad for a development studio that already has like everything mapped out from point A to point Z. And they're completely good to go. But then a publisher says, you know, we really don't think that this kind of game would actually be able to capture this Call of Duty audience that we're really trying to go and cater to. So we think you need to go and change all of this. And the development team can say, well, that kind of changes everything. They'll be like, yeah, it does. So if you could get on that, that'd be great. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
be
Right.
seeing you in
Movies.
about 3 months now. Is that good? But you told us that we had 6 months. Yeah. But the thing is, the holiday season's coming up, and within 6 months, you'd actually be going toe-to-toe with some of those bigger releases, so now you have 3 months. So we need you to go and change this completely, and you need to release it sooner, and if you don't, then you're all fired.
So alter it and rush it.
It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
So,
no,
and that's something that I've seen so many studios that,
Yeah.
like, here's an example, and this is an old-ass example, but always one I remember, is when Rare, or when the folks at Rare were actually producing GoldenEye for Nintendo 64, they actually had their budget taken away from them throughout the last duration of them creating the game. Because they were told, your game's taken way too long to make, and we just don't think that you can get this done. So they had to just keep making the game out of nothing. They had to just run with it because they already worked that hard on it. Granted, now in retrospect, it turned out to be one of the best licensed games in the entire world, one of the most innovative first-person shooters in the entire world, one of the most important console games, especially for the time. But that game actually dealt with some developer hell, and it was interesting because those guys, all of them were new to video game developing. They didn't really have a background in it, and then all that shit got thrown at them. They were changing up things left and right. They were told to change a bunch of shit. They were told they were allowed to have this, but then didn't have that. And it's crazy because it makes you wonder, how would it go if they were just on their own without somebody looking over their shoulder? They still had the funding, but they just didn't have somebody telling them what to do. It always makes me curious if we would get such a big, drastic change. So,
Well, this is interesting. So we've been talking about Mighty Number 9 quite a bit. What's interesting about Mighty Number 9 is I got to play Cuphead, and Cuphead is what I thought Mighty Number 9 was going to be. But I don't know how much money they're getting for Cuphead, but I got to talk to the artists behind it, and they said that all the animations, all the backgrounds and everything, all hand-drawn, all painted with watercolors, like by hand.
Wow.
And I was like, but you didn't have a Kickstarter for a couple million. Wait, how? How did you do that? And it's the Xbox ID thing that they're doing, the independent development stuff. They're putting money into these projects. And look, I got to play Cuphead, and without any spoilers, it's fucking good. If you like Mega Man, if you like those hard old platformers, you're gonna like this game. But what blew my mind was that shouldn't have happened. Like, it has no reason to have happened that way. It should be this goofy-looking 3D shooter with poor graphics and poor effects, but they're putting their heart and soul into it. And I find it amazing that we get something from that, but we don't get the same thing from a studio that we thought was going to deliver something exactly like that. So it's true. I completely agree. There are those companies that will go out there and they will, like, destroy a project completely from the ground up just because they're like, look, guys, this Pong game you're making, it's cool, but we need it to be 16 multiplayer and we need achievements. And then the entire experience is just wrong. But I don't even know how, but Cuphead's coming out and damn, son, like, it's looking good. And
well, I think it's just one of those things, like, it's important to look at it from, like, both sides of the fence. Because when you don't have anybody kind of trying to tell you, hey, your ideas aren't all that great. These ones are, but these other ones are fucking stupid. So stop. Please stop, because it's going to destroy everything. Stop. Just stop. Yeah. I will throw a fucking toaster that's plugged into your bathtub if you do not fucking stop. And then there's other times where nobody should be coming in and telling creative artists what to do just because they're signing a checkbook with zeros on the end.
Yeah.
You know, it's a balancing act, isn't it? It's the balancing act. You've got to have a degree of one, a degree of the other, to mesh together, to be cohesive. And then
it's
you
hard
get
to
the
find
game.
that compromise. Like, it really is.
A compromise, yeah.
But overall, I thought it's one of those important things just to bring up. Be like, hey, it can go either way. But
I'm still looking forward to Mighty Number 9, though.
I am too. I played the demo. I played the demo and I liked it a bunch. And it was just a demo, and I know that it was just like there are some people that bitched about the demo, saying, "Oh my God, really not that great," and I just respond with, this is like
it's a
tutorial
demo.
game.
It's a demo.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Well, Ground Zeroes is a demo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically,
Ground
I mean,
Zeroes,
a lot of people don't think about that, though. They think that they're supposed to, like, their first taste of something is supposed to be the entire enchilada.
Yeah.
I've had people freak out because they saw a trailer for something and it didn't showcase everything under the sun, and they were pissed off. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to begin breaking down what's wrong with that mindset. Like, this is a teaser
That's it,
trailer.
yeah. A teaser.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Like if I gave you everything that this game had to offer in a fucking trailer, it'd be called a movie, and the movie would be 25 fucking hours long,
Yep.
and that wouldn't be that fucking fun, would it? God.
That's it. No, that's it. People as well as are so entitled these days as well. Like in regards to that. But like I was saying earlier, though, like these days, if games don't have a particular online multiplayer, or it doesn't have online co-op, or it doesn't have this feature.
Fuck online.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. No, people are like these days. People are like, oh, it's a shit game. It doesn't even have online, and it's like, for fuck's sake, like it's
Dude,
but
I
it's
got
what trailers do. Sorry, Bill.
recently I got told this, and I was fucking flabbergasted. I had no idea what to say. It was just complete shock. But I was told that if somebody would rather play the shittiest, worst reviewed AAA game known to man than to play the best reviewed, well received indie game in existence,
Yeah.
just because I was like, wait a minute, why? Because AAA games have the graphics.
oh my
And that's
god.
all I was told, and it made no sense to me because I was like, but indie games also graphically look really fucking nice. Shane, you were talking about Cuphead. For fuck's sake, Cuphead looks like an animated movie. But if it doesn't look like, I don't know, if it doesn't look like I'm really holding my hand up to a fucking person, if it doesn't look like
Doesn't look like The Last of Us kind of thing.
I looked at it and I'm just like, you're part of why the fuck I want to go on a goddamn rampage.
That argument has been rampaging ever since the 8-bit/16-bit era, when graphics started to get decent, started to get really good, and people say, "Oh, look at the graphics on this; it's amazing." By the way, where's the gameplay?
Now, guys, if you see Bill rampaging around town now, you know exactly why. Right.
Quickly,
Guys.
put on your pixel mask.
Guys, I'm sorry to jump in here, but we are unfortunately coming towards the end of show 1. We'll be closing up in about 5 minutes, so I'll just quickly go through some of the comments, which we unfortunately haven't had time to go through tonight. Let's see. RetroUnlim says, GTFO. Well, I guess we've got to end right now. Novabug says, what awaits? We'll ask him, Novabug, what does await?
Well, the discussions that we just had, clearly, about big companies, indie developers, the future, where gaming is going, and how gaming can be turned into shit, according to Rerez.
There you go, Chris. There you go, Chris. You can go back in time and tell your past self exactly what's going to be on tonight.
Well, you see, as a Novabug, I can do that, because I do have a spaceship in the shape of a GX4000.
Yes, of course. Polar Ventress says, what?
In the butt?
Is he trying to do like an elite impression from Halo?
I'm not sure. Polar, what was that all about? Are you still here? I don't know. RetroUnlim says, welcome to hell. You're all sinners watching this.
I
I thought you were about to do the intro from Alter Beast there and go, welcome to your doom.
Welcome to your doom. Welcome. Channel
Start
Swift.
lifting weights.
Channel Swift says, good morning, folks. Good morning. Colo CPC says, hello all, smiley face. Let's see, Woodland was here. He says, what is this? The Rip Woodland off stream, in reference to me saying, thanks for being yourself. Thank you for letting me borrow that, Woodland. You're a good guy. Channel Swift says, oh dear, I I don't think you're gonna like this. Is it bad if I don't know who these people are?
Yes, it is. Really bad.
And then RetroUnlim says, I don't know Snob either. Retro Game Crusader says, Alpha is describing that milk see you next Tuesday from Misfits who owns people with milk in their system.
Yeah, and I replied with what? Glenn Danzig?
He controlled milk that was inside people's systems. I don't know what that's about. Costado says, let's see how long I can hold out for. Same here. Same here. Retro Games Crusader says, Jason Todd Joker always sounds mint to me.
It's always weirder when you say them out loud, isn't it? When you read it, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
How
photo.
profound.
Let's see. Kit171 was here. He says, Killing Joke is great. Still have my special edition release of it.
I'm looking forward to reading that.
Everyone's going about Killing Joke. What about Killing Time on the 3DO? No one gives that any fucking love.
I love Killing Time. I actually
3DO FPS, come on.
Oh yeah.
Killing Time. Coming soon. Infected Flinch says, oh, do all. And then he says,
Hey.
not staying long, but if they all start touching each other, make sure you let me know about it. Gas said Steve has left a question for Bill and Shane in part 2, and I'll ask that when we come back. Slopes Gaming Room, Mr. Daniel Ibbotson says, Tembo, the Badass Elephant is the best game Sega has ever published. No, he says has published in ages.
Yeah, actually, I bought that today. I haven't played it yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking to play that as well.
Yeah, I bought it this morning, but I haven't played it yet. But it does look cool.
Game Boys Are Awesome says, hey guys!
Hello.
Hey Game Boys Are Awesome. And finally, Radi Hikaru will have the final word. He'll say, do you guys still recommend the Metal Gear Solid games?
Well, the first one, definitely.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah.
All of them are great in their own way. I mean, even the Game Boy Color version I thought was pretty cool.
I didn't really put this out there when we were talking about it earlier, but because of the Kojima debacle, I don't want to buy Metal Gear 5. I'm done with the series because I just can't. I can't put my money over some company that is just
I know
so
how you feel.
toxic now. I just no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
That's why you torrent it. There's a big middle finger to them.
No, not even that. I'm not even going to play the game because it's just...
Don't do that. Like, it's a bit, even despite Konami being complete cunts, as we all know.
Look at it this way.
It's still Kojima's. It's still Kojima's like part of his vision and his story. He still had a major part of it. And as a goodbye for Kojima, I want to play it for that. I'm not going to give them my money.
I was just about to say it. Look at the way Bill says. Look at it as a swan song. That's it.
Yeah, but then don't you just sound like entitled because, I'm not going to support the company, but I'm going to download the game anyway. Fuck the power. No, I'm just not interested in the game at all.
Fair enough.
It's shit. Konami and all this tobacco is shit on my love for the series. It's shit on my love for all the Konami stuff. I'm not interested. I'm voting my wallet.
Okay, who out of us will buy Metal Gear Solid 5? Bill? You're not sure? You won't?
No, if I end up getting it, it'll probably be used.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have it pre-ordered, and I am planning on buying it for PC only because I have a show called Fucking Positives, and I hope it's bad. And when it is bad, if it is, it's going to be featured guest.
I can't imagine it's going to be bad, but I'm not interested
Shane,
now.
I want to recommend, just because this podcast, you should most definitely do a Positives on Duke Nukem Forever.
Yes.
I'm actually playing through it right now. I'm recording all the footage off of it so that I can actually come. It's not amazing, but there are like positive aspects to it. So it's gonna be one of those games where I basically efficient in a way that it's not the best Duke Nukem game, but it's just a decent shooter.
Sorry, while we're on the topic of that, the one thing you should definitely mention is a lot of people go very funny at Duke Nukem. Like, oh, it's so sexist and misogynistic. It's like, yeah, that's the character of Duke Nukem. That's the whole point of it.
In golfing terms, it's called par for the fucking course.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's the whole. That's what Duke is. Stop. Like, but one thing that made me laugh is. I don't know if you're going to play it online because the servers are maybe down. There was a mode called Capture the Babe, and it basically is like capture the flag. And when you're running with,
briefly.
yeah, when you have one of the babes on your shoulder, and she starts rubbing your hand in your face, and you spank her to make her move. It is great.
Can I just time out for a second, guys? I've got to say goodbye because my family have just arrived, so I've got to shoot.
Okay, Chris,
So,
thank you for joining
speak to you all.
us in show 1. And indeed, that's a good part.
That's it.
At which to call an end to the show. But first, I believe Mr. Aidan Watkins has a very special announcement to make.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that. It means I did say to like you two guys, you got loads of subs. It means nothing to you. Like last week or the week before, I hit 100 subs. Yay!
Oh, brag about it.
No, but like basically, I done a little competition because I was like, oh cool, someone likes to hear what I have to say. Great. And basically, everyone that commented on the video entered into a random prize draw, basically. Now, I'm not sure if... I'm going to try and... I do believe there's an option to screen share, so I'm going to see if this works.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see what happens.
By the magic of Google Hangouts.
Yeah. Right. I'm hoping... Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. We were going into the future, apparently.
Yeah, I did. But like basically, all the people's names are here, so I'm gonna like hit this random button to choose, and whoever wins wins. So here we go.
Right, here we go.
Can we have a drum roll, Mr. Yak?
Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna win?
Wooly Weeble. Oh, there we go.
That's
Willy
bullshit.
Weeble.
Re-roll it.
Nope, he's the one who.
You know.
There we go. Wooly Weeble won. There we go. Thank you
Yes.
for everyone. Yay.
Well done, Wooly.
Right, we need to stop the screen share because
Whoa.
holy shit, it was like screen and a screen and a screen and a screen and a screen.
So what does he win?
No, that's a secret. He's gonna get the items and then he can tell people if he wants to. It's a secret idea.
Secret items. I wonder what they could be.
Well, they were blurred out in the video, so.
Ooh, we're going to have to go and watch that. If indeed we haven't already, which I feel I should have done, I'm digging myself into a hole here.
Or if people even give a shit, that's the other thing. Again, we are nobodies in the world of YouTube, so.
Wrap it up.
At the moment we aren't, but soon, one day, my friend, Mr. Aidan Watkins, Mr. Game Taff, people will shout your name from the rooftops as if you were Batman or something. Batman.
Yes. All those nerds, nerdettes, and gamers.
Well, that was the 90s Nintendo, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Right, thank you for that, Mr. Aidan Watkins, and well done, Mr. Wooly Weeble. It only remains for me to thank the guests for the end of show 1, which were Mr. Alpha Omega Sin, aka Bill, I should say. Console Snob.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, Snob. Mr. Shane Lewis, aka Reyes.
Sorry. This one's for my peeps out there. Good evening, good night, and go fuck yourself.
And of course, Mr. Aidan Watkins.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, guys. Nice to finally sort of speak with you, Bill, and you as well, Shane. So thanks, guys.
Excellent. And it's a goodbye from me as well. Please do join in for show 2, which is coming up at 10:30 UK time, approximately, well, probably about 25 minutes now, because this is overrun slightly, but we will be back very soon, and I'll hopefully have my teeth in, and we can resume for show 2. Please get your questions in for our special guests tonight. We'll probably do some sort of Q&A, because we have some comments and questions to answer from this part. But for now, from Mr. Harry Yak with no teeth in, it's good night for now. Shush, 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 shush. Miss Moneypenny. Shush, shush.
Fucking hell.